Hello and welcome to Forever Olympics on Forever Sports for today's day 4 wrap-up and a day of elation and frustration. A shock medal and a shock medal exit was the order of proceedings today. And we're going to go through exactly what happened regarding Team SA. 2 silver medals on the board is what we are talking about, as well as a potential medal in the early mornings of tomorrow. So yeah, without any further ado, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. And what we said today was going to be a very, very big day for Team South Africa. It was going to be finally the day that we get ourselves on the board. And we did get ourselves on the board. And we'll start with, we're sort of working through as it sort of happened, as it sort of unpacked itself throughout the early hours of the morning. And it started with the women's triathlon, where we had 2 athletes in it, Simone Ackerman as well as Gillian Sanders. Unfortunately, Gillian Sanders recording did not finish, so her not getting over the lap there. But Simone Ackerman came in at 17th, so it wasn't really a medal hope in begin with. So congratulations for her. She's still an Olympia, stuff like that, and I think that's the main thing, is that we are sending more and more people. They're getting this Olympic experience. They became part of such an iconic event. Then if we're looking at the surfing, what an absolute superstar Bianca Buitendag has become overnight, literally overnight. 17th seed moving into the surfing competition. She came 3rd in her first heat, which meant that she had to go into round 2. Then after round 2, managed to stick it to round 3, got herself into the quarterfinals. And in the quarterfinals, she then beat Yolanda Hopkins. First time I've actually watched, I think I've watched the surfing event, beginning to end. It was quite interesting. I mean, half an hour thing of trying to find ways, stuff like that. I learned quite a lot about the event, which was quite a lot of fun. But all of a sudden, in the semi-final, which meant that she was a medal hope, and we spoke about the fact yesterday that she was 2 wins away from being a medal, winning a medal, and she did exactly that. She beat Yolanda Hopkins from Portugal, and then beating Caroline Marks in the semi-final, which meant that she was guaranteed at the very least a silver medal, which is what she eventually walked away with after she lost to Carissa Moore, also from the USA, who was the #1 seed in the competition. So huge congratulations to Bianca Buitendag. What an absolutely superb performance. An interesting story about her. In 2019, if SASCOC had not relaxed their Olympic qualifying measures, she would not have been part of the Olympics. We would not have had that silver medal. And this is what I've been talking about, the fact that we will never, ever compete at the Olympics properly and never sort of have these big medals like other nations have until we start sending over the biggest teams possible. Send all these athletes over. You look at the breaststroke, we'll talk about it, the fact that 17-year-old coming over with the medal. We are finally starting to sort of send those sort of junior athletes. But in general, in the past, Team South Africa have been so poor, SASCOC have been so poor at sending over, as big a team as possible, very much sort of having their own sort of qualifying standards that, they weren't going to sort of waste money on people who are going to go over there and not do anything. And that's not the point of what the Olympics is. The Olympics is not all about getting the medals. Of course you want to get medals, but it's about being part of the event. It's about putting yourself on the map. It's about getting the exposure. And for example, somebody goes in and puts in a big performance. They don't even necessarily have to medal. They put in a big performance on the world stage. It suddenly means they can get sponsorships. They can try and get noticed. And that could sort of set them on the right path. They can pick up better coaches, which can put them on a path to becoming medal hopes. Maybe suddenly, a coach or something like that are thinking, I can actually see some potential there. I'm going to try and go down to South Africa and coach these people and stuff like that. So that's where it's important that we need to put ourselves on the map. The Olympics is a bit like, putting yourself in the window really and saying, this is what we can do. These are the type of athletes we have. And we need to do more of that, because Bianca Buitendag wouldn't have gone had SASCOC not relaxed their qualifying standards. And as a result, she's got a silver medal. She was a very, very outside chance at even medaling. And look what she's gone and done. And this is what we talk about, especially some of these sports where there's such fine margins between coming, 2nd and 12th. It can be those sort of fine margins. There are always shock exits. Naomi Osaka was knocked out of tennis. So there's always these sort of these shocks, exits and stuff like that, and these big performances. That why not send as many people as possible and see what happens? Not all of them will come off. One of our major medal hopes did, but send these people and give them the chance to try and surprise you, which is what Bianca Buitendag did. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal stuff from her. On the board first, and well, technically, she was actually on the board second, because the first person to get the medal was Tatiana Schoolmaker, not unfortunately getting the gold medal, as a lot of people were touting her to do. She was pipped right at the end by 70-year-old Lydia Jacobi from the USA. But she did beat Lily King, who came 3rd, the world record holder. And I think an event where I think it looked like she got away a little bit slowly to Schoolmaker, but then came back really, really strong. And I mean, it was so close. So she was really, really close to that gold medal. But you could see how happy, what it meant to her. I mean, she's an Olympic silver medalist. We've got 2 medals on the board, and they're both silver, which is funny enough because we don't actually often get silvers. We're a bit of an all or nothing. Often quite a few golds, and then like often quite a few bronze. But we actually very rarely get silver medals, does South Africa. So, I mean, phenomenal to have 2 silver medals on the board. And then all of a sudden, Chad de Clos went from being just qualifying into the 200 meters battle semi-final to being a potential medalist. He stormed back in perfect response and finished at first in his 200 meter final and qualified 3rd fastest overall, moving into the final, which will take place tomorrow morning. So after yesterday, we were sort of saying that, you know, it's all about, can he sort of pull it up the fire? What can he do? How can he respond? Well, that's how he can respond. And, you know, Ray Neatley was talking about the fact that given the conditions are a bit different, you know, in terms of them swimming at earlier time and stuff like that, it suits people who race. And that's what Chad de Clos is. Chad de Clos is a racer when it comes to swimming. You know, something like Adam Peaty, he's gonna win regardless of who you put next to him. You know, he can jump in a pool and he will break records just him swimming. Whereas Chad de Clos is somebody that he sort of rises to the occasion. We all remember that, you know, that look left at Michael Phelps and then saying, I can do this. And that's kind of where he used it. He rides that sort of adrenaline, which is why I think he managed to respond so well. So don't write him off. Do not write him off. He's our most successful Olympian of all time for good reason. But somebody that or a team that we were really backing was our sevens, and how disappointing was their performance today. Unbelievable. I mean, beating the USA 17-12 to qualify top of the group. They were going to come up against Argentina. And after scoring a try first, being 7-0 up, perfect start, Argentina will then dished out a red card. And after that, you've got to think, perfect. Here we go. The Blitzbox, surely you have to go and qualify for semi-finals and get themselves to medal contention. But despite Argentina being down to 6 men and eventually even down to 5 men in the final minute, South Africa could not respond. They could not keep them out. The Argentina spirit was just too much, and they went down 14-7 and are out of the medal hopes. So, as I said, a day when we didn't really think Bianca Buitendijk was a genuine medal hope. She had an outside chance, but we really backed our sevens to try and go all the way, and they dropped out and are now playing for 5th or 8th. But I think that's really stupid. I don't understand why they even still playing. You know, I think as soon as you're out, go home. You know, you don't sit there. You know, in other events, you know, you don't. In the tennis, when you go out, you don't go suddenly start playing for 5th and 8th. If you can't, once you're out, I think you're out. I mean, even the sort of the rowing and the B fine and stuff like that, I don't really see the point. I mean, you know, what does it make that much of a difference if you're coming sort of 8th or 7th or 9th or 10th? I mean, I think it does in sort of the individual events, but when you have to set up an entire event just to sort of work those things out, I'm not so sure that there's much interest there. And then in terms of the sailing, not fantastic showing on the sailing front. We had Leo Davis, who was in the men's fin race, finishing 17 out of 19, and 19 out of 19 in the 2 races there. Benjamin Daniel and Alex Berger finished 13 out of 19. They will also be in action tomorrow morning. Our women's mountain bike, Candice Liddell, came in at 24th out of 38, and our men's hockey side lost to Belgium, who are the number 1 ranked side, 4 goals to 9. So, and unfortunate for them. And then our water polo losing 20 points to 3 against USA. Nardis Badenhorst, Jason Eversard, Yassine Marga were the 3 goal scorers for South Africa. But, I mean, the team sports we really have struggled, haven't we? And I think the sevens was supposed to be our shining light and be our one sort of team sport that we were going to try and put ourselves on the map. Wasn't to be, unfortunately. It really has been a case of close but no cigar for most of our team sports. And that was sort of the day that was. So 2 silver medals, a big medal hope going down, and all of a sudden a potential 3rd medal hope in Chad de Clos. In terms of your forecast for tomorrow, it kicks off with the rowing, the men's 4 and the B final. That starts at 20 to 2 in the morning. The hockey are then in action where the women are taking on the Netherlands. That will be at 2:30. And then the sevens are facing Australia for the 5th to 8th placing. So not much really to play for there. But set your clocks for 03:49. Well, don't set your clocks for things, because then you'll miss the start. But 03:49, Chad de Clos will be in the 200-meter butterfly final. Can he do it against all the odds? You know, no form. Was kind of written off quite early. Can he respond and come away with any sort of medal? I think any medal will be phenomenal for him, given how much he struggled to get to the semi-final. But never, never, ever write off Chad de Clos. And then we've got cycling, the women's individual time trial and the men's individual time trial. Ashley Moolman-Pasio will be in action at 4:30, while Stefan de Bod will be in action at 7 o'clock. Sailing, Leo Davis once again in the fin race. That'll start at 5:05. Benjamin Daniel, Alex Berger in the next set of 49er races. In our water polo, our women will be taking on the Canada. That will be at 8:30 before lots and lots of swimming to look forward to tomorrow in the second session, which sort of starts at about 12 o'clock or 11:30, I think it is. First of all, in the women's 100-meter freestyle heats, Erin Gallo will be taking part there. Martin Binnedal will be taking part in the men's 200 backstroke. We've got two people in the women's 200-meter breaststroke heats. Kaylin Corbett will be in heat 2, and Tatiana Schumacher will be in heat 4. Now, this is her main event, by the way. This is her event. This is the event that, You know, she's probably, if there's going to be a gold medal in her or world record or anything like it, it was going to be the 200-meter breaststroke. She's much better at the 200-meter than she is at the 100 meters. So this is really now, you know, the time to get exciting. Can she maybe pull off that gold medal and you know, send us soaring up that medal board? We then also got the men's 200-meter individual relay, individual medley with Matthew Sates, who is 17 years old. He'll be taking part in that. And then finally, we'll have our women's 4x200-meter freestyle relay. That will be in Heat 1. And then the day will finish off as our South Africa under-23s face Mexico in football. So plenty to watch for Team SA. Tomorrow, get your flippers on, get your goggles on, because we're going to be pretty much focusing in on the swimming tomorrow. Could be a very big day in the pool, could be a potential medal, could be a couple of people getting into semi-finals and finals as well. So that's what you really want to look out for tomorrow. But let me know what you thought of the performance and stuff like that. Once again, huge congratulations to Schoenmaker and Bianca Batenduck. Also so nice to see two female athletes, you know, putting us on the board. It's always been such a frustration that there are so, I mean, you look at the breakup and we still send too few women athletes. It's such a problem to try and in this country to get more and more women's athletes. So it really is fantastic, especially in a sport like surfing, you know, which is maybe not taken seriously enough by the country. I mean, when you can start, it's amazing how you can suddenly, you know, put in performances like that, and then you inspire the next generation, and they think, you know, why can't I go and be a medalist at the Olympics for surfing and stuff like that? So we need those inspirational stories to go on and inspire the next generation. Bianca Batenduck has definitely done that. Tatiana Schoenmaker is hopefully going to do that as well. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. My name is Steven. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll chat to you soon.